brothers. My name is Eugene Abbaticchio, and I am the Worshipful Junior Grand Deacon of the Grand Lodge of Michigan. I'd like to take a few moments of your time to tell you about a chance encounter I had with a brother a few years back. I was traveling with then Grand Master William Finkel to Coloma Lodge, where he was going to give a 70-year pin to this brother. So when we got there, as is common in a lot of lodges, they had dinner before the awards. So we sat down and was talking to this brother, and to find out he was quite active in his community throughout his life in that. Well, at that time, most worshipful brother Don Boyer had come over and sat down with us and related this story to us. He had told us about how a few years prior this brother was on the tax commission for the township. So he had the idea that he was going to save the lodge some money and fill out the forms, the proper paperwork and that, and see if he can get a tax credit or tax abatement for the lodge. And knowing what he knew, that not only this brother was a Mason on the board, but also the lady that was on the board was involved in Eastern Star, plus another gentleman on the board had Masonic ties. So most worshipful brother Don just knew. He knew he had this in the bag. So as he's relating this story to Bill and myself, I'm looking at this brother, and he's just sitting there smiling, shaking his head, and so Don goes on with the story about how he got all the right paperwork and filled out what needed to be done, crossed the T's and dotted the I's and made sure everything was in good order. And he submitted the papers, and upon either submitting the papers or when the board actually was reviewing them, Don was there, and this brother looked at him and just said, "Don, we can't do it. I can't go forward with your request." And when Don asked him why, I guess the brother just simply told him that if I do it for you, I would have to do it for everybody else in the township. He goes, and just on that alone, he goes, "I just can't do it." And I sat there and listened to that, and the impact it had on me, realizing the integrity that this brother had, that he could have very easily given him it, but he didn't, because of the reason given, that he'd have to give it to everybody else. And you know, in my travels throughout the state, especially the last few years, all our lodges have brothers like this. I run into them all over the place. And it's just amazing to know that we belong to such a great fraternity, that we can stand up when we certainly could do what isn't necessarily wrong, but do what is right. The integrity behind that. And that really hit home that night. And you know, and unfortunately I don't recall this brother's name. I probably will never see him again in my life, but I will never forget that encounter that night. Absolutely amazing in my life. And I have a lot of these stories in a lot of lodges with brothers that I meet that are exactly like that. And that is why I joined Masonry. That is why I will do whatever I can to help any brother out, any lodge out that I can. And it's just an amazing fraternity. So with that, brothers, I want you to stay safe. Stay at home until we can get out safely and meet. And we'll get through this little pandemic we're going through. And I hope to see you soon. Thank you.